Hi, this is Greg Polis, and I want to welcome you to the top 5 product launch mistakes, or how to pick up all the free money you're leaving on the table. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my history and what I've done, and I'll get into the top 5 mistakes. Since 2006, I've launched over 10 products, or I've done 10 product launches of various products, and that resulted in just under $10 million in total sales, or about $1 million per launch. Needless to say, that was pretty exciting. It still is exciting. It's made me a lot of money. But I did make a lot of mistakes during that process. I also did a lot of things right, and I leave less money on the table now. So what I'm going to share with you is what I think are the top 5 things that I could have done better and that you can probably do better to make a lot more money. Okay, mistake number 1 is ending your launch before midnight. Don't do it. Here's what I'm talking about. If you launch a product and you have a limited release, say you're going to only sell it for 7 days or for 3 days. What I used to do, and what I see a lot of people do, is they'll end their launch at like noon or 2 p.m. And when I stopped doing that, I realized that, hey, if I end the launch at noon, I'm essentially taking away 12 unused prime buying hours. Somebody might get your 12 hours to go email at 8 p.m. after they eat dinner. Well, if you close the launch at noon, they're going to miss out on that. Yeah, the world is a global market, so you have to figure out where most of your customers are. But I got a lot of customers in the U.S., and I'm sure you do too. So by ending your launch at midnight, you're letting the momentum of the day carry through. And as soon as I added on 12 hours and stopped ending at noon and ending at midnight, I saw a definite spike in sales on the last day. Mistake number 2 is not having any upsells. And this is a big deal. I was guilty of this early on, but pretty quickly I started to add these upsells on. And we all know why this is. We all have psychological buying thresholds. And you got to let your customers spend themselves out of their buying frenzy, or else they could even be disappointed that you didn't let them spend enough money. This is a big deal. So by giving them more things to spend money on, they're happy, and of course you're happy. At a bare minimum, you want to be doing upsell offers on your thank you page. I like to find complimentary offers so that they don't contradict or confuse my customers with what my main product is. Ideally, you're going to want to look at doing more advanced things like step-by-step multiple upsells during the checkout process, putting continuity or membership programs in place. Mistake number 3 is not having a second chance offer. And what I mean by second chance offer is, again, if you're offering your product for, say, 3, 5, or 7 days on a limited basis and you're pulling it off the market, coming back a week later or 2 weeks later for maybe a 72-hour period and offering a second chance at getting the product. This was the most costly mistake for me. For my first 4 or 5 launches, I don't think I really did any second chance offers. And in 3 of my recent launches, having a second chance offer resulted in 17 to 30% more sales, or in my case, over $1 million just in second chance sales over 3 launches. So, had I not done those, I literally would have left $1 million on the table, on the digital table, money that I would not have collected. Mistake number 4 is not relaunching the same product. Jeff Walker, who created the product launch formula, likes to call me the king of the relaunch or something like that. He just gets a big kick out of how many times I relaunched the same product. And in fact, in 2006, I relaunched the same product 4 times, and then again early on in 2007. So over a 12-month period, I relaunched the exact same product using pretty much the exact same launch process with the same joint venture partners to almost the same email list, and did great each time. And it wasn't what you think. Each launch was not worse than the prior launch. In fact, I think the 3rd or 4th launch was better than the second launch. So you can really relaunch a product many times. Your products can do great that way. And the relaunches are fun because all you do is rewind and play. All your hard work is done. The product's been created. The marketing's done. Just rewind and send the same emails out. It can be as easy as that. Some of the reasons I like to use why I'm doing a relaunch is I want to only let limited copies go so I can support my customers. And if you have a product that that may lose effectiveness if too many people have it, you can talk about that too. The mistake number 5 is not having other marketing efforts in place. And I was very guilty of this and still am. And what I mean by this is you don't just want to have a product launch business model. That's not really a strong business model. Yeah, it'll make you a ton of money, but you also have a lot of peaks and valleys. So if you're serious about building a sellable asset and a sustainable business, you want a product launch to be just a bullet point on your entire business model. That'll make a big difference in your bottom line. You won't need to stress out as much in between product launches when the cash doesn't come in. And when you have other efforts in place, other marketing efforts in place, having a more sustainable recurring level of income or a revenue, the product launch is just icing on the cake. And that's really the power and the beauty of the product launch. In terms of how many to do per year, I think it's realistic to do 3 to 4. Anything more than that, especially if you're working with joint venture partners and doing these big mega launches, it gets really complicated to schedule your launch, especially if you're working with all these partners, because they're going to have their launches in place, and it gets really crowded and kind of messy. So 3 to 4 per year is a good target. Now, finally, a bonus mistake that I see people making is not keeping detailed statistics. I like to document everything I do on all my launches. I just fire up an Excel spreadsheet and track everything. Start with tracking the emails that you send out, what date, what time, who are they going to, which sublists, are they going to your prospects, to your customers, to your priority list, to your affiliates. And you might also want to track how much money does each email bring in. So you kind of can look back on that and say, okay, this email to this list made this much money. Also track all your opt-in rate numbers, the pre-launch content, how many people signed up for it, how many people joined your priority list, if you have a contest, how many contest entries there were. And once you have a couple of launches under your belt with this kind of data and you're using the same kind of launch process, you'll be surprised at how accurately you can predict your launch sales just by the data that you gather during pre-launch. And that makes the launch week much less stressful, makes planning and managing things like inventory levels if you're shipping physical products much more manageable. It just makes it a less stressful launch. So, get through the first couple launches, track all your data, and then going forward when you relaunch, it's a lot more fun. So I hope that's been helpful. If you want to get the product launch formula or get more free videos, I know Jeff Walker is launching it right now. You can go to launchformula.com to see if it's still available. But while you're there, make sure you opt in for his free videos, because he's given a ton of pre-launch videos away, going through some great case studies and in all sorts of different markets. So you can see, real people making real money, and you'll learn a lot more. Even if you don't buy the course, just go and get his free videos, because they're an education by themselves. Product Launch Formula is easily one of the best educational courses I've ever purchased, and I spent over $100,000 at least in the last 4 years on learning from all the gurus, traveling all around the world, trying to find out what works, what's the best thing. I've gone to all the seminars, and as you know, there's a lot of crap out there, and there's a lot of good stuff too. Product Launch Formula is at the top of the heap. It's quick, convenient, and truly step by step. I can't say enough good things about it. Your mileage may vary, of course, and this is no promise that you're going to make any money. You can, in fact, lose a lot of money. But, if you have a good idea, you're smart, you got some energy, and you take action, this is about as easy as it's going to get. So go ahead, go to launchformula.com, get Jeff's free videos, and I look forward to hearing about your successes with Product Launch Formula.